The chill season update is now out and so are the patch notes, and we have a ton of really huge updates for Salmon Run to share with you. Nintendo has already gone the extra mile to improve Salmon Run in the chill season. There's really lots of great additions here that I think you'll be excited to learn about, which just make the mode so much better. We have some new features, quality of life updates, and so much more. Leave a like on the video if you're excited, and let's jump right into this. Now, the obvious is that we have a new King Salmonid, which is Megalodontia, also known as Joe. And this new King Salmonid is definitely very scary. We haven't really learned very much about it yet. We did get a little preview of it in the trailer, but it will actually make its debut during the first big run, which is really exciting. This now brings us up to 3 King Salmonids, which I think is absolutely amazing, and I hope we get even more in the future. Don't forget, Big Run is happening this weekend, so if you do want to take part, make sure you face off against Joe, aka Megalodontia. Nintendo has also confirmed that they have added in Kraken Royale and the Triple Splashdown as special weapons to Salmon Run, which is fantastic news. Kraken has been missing for quite a while now, so I'm really happy they finally added it in, and it's definitely very powerful. It can even do things like with its charge, it can take out fly fish baskets, which is really great, and just in general, it seems to be pretty darn strong in the mode. We also have Triple Splashdown, which will definitely be very useful in taking out hordes of enemies. So yeah, I think it's fantastic that they've added these in. It might seem like a small change, but honestly it can really change the dynamics of matches, and I think it'll make a pretty big difference overall. I've always wanted to see even more specials, and I'd still love to see the rest as well. For example, I'd really like to see Super Chump added in, even though I do understand that it's a little bit different from some of the other specials. It's perhaps maybe a bit more defensive. I still think there could be a use for it in Salmon Run, so who knows, maybe they'll add that one in too. That would be fantastic to see. We also have some other special weapon changes which they outlined in the patch notes. Nintendo has mentioned that the conditions for the provision of special weapons have been adjusted such that at least 2 of the following special weapons, which can attack salmonids at a distance, will always be provided: Inkjet, Crab Tank, Killer Whale 5.1, Booyah Bomb, and the Triple Ink Strike. I definitely think this is great news to see. It should just make things feel a little bit more convenient for players. This is a nice quality of life change with the special weapons that I can definitely get behind. There is also a change to Big Run, as Nintendo has confirmed that the quotas for Big Runs have changed. In Big Runs, the score required for obtaining a gold, silver, or bronze decoration will be predetermined for each occurrence and will be announced via the Anarchy Splatcast at the start of the Big Run. So yeah, this is definitely a really interesting change, honestly. One that I think has been a long time coming, as Nintendo wants to try and encourage more people to take part in big runs. So if they make the goals a little bit more obtainable for players who are a bit more casual at Salmon Run, I think that will help them achieve their goal. There are of course a lot of players who are against this change because they feel like it'll just make things a bit too easy and their achievements of getting really high scores won't mean as much. But personally, I still think going for the really high scores can still mean a lot and be a really cool flex, while setting other players who aren't quite as good at Salmon Run but are still trying their best to get these prizes that they want. I think that's a healthy balance to have in the game, honestly. I think this will make a lot of people want to take part in Big Run who didn't before, so that definitely is good in my opinion. We'll have to see how this change actually works and what the numbers are for each one. I'm assuming they'll be different for each Big Run, so we'll just have to wait and see. They've also confirmed some changes with the badges. In normal jobs, when stages and supplied weapons change, if a player has a badge that corresponds to a stage after the switch, they will now start with a higher job title than before, and you can see that information charted here. I think this is a really great change. It almost acts in a way like checkpoints for Salmon Run, so it should mean that getting those badges will mean even more, and they'll actually have a much more functional purpose, which I think is fantastic. A lot of players are definitely going to welcome this change, I certainly do, and it definitely makes me want to go after these badges even more, honestly. So yeah, this is absolutely great to see. I'm really glad they're adding in these changes, finally. I feel like this is something we could have done with quite a while ago, but I'm just happy they're adding it in now, honestly, as it's a really great quality of life change that I definitely wanted to see for quite a while. They've also confirmed some changes aesthetically with the King Salmonids. The type of King Salmonid appearing will now display in the stage information on the main menu. This is something we've needed to see happen for so long, so I'm really happy that they've finally done this. They've also said in Grizzco, the shape of the salmon meter will now change based on the type of king salmonid appearing. So yes, these two very much go hand in hand, and I think it's a fantastic change. It is a pretty small thing, honestly, but it just makes a big difference, because every time in the past it has been Kohozuna, so it's never been super clear exactly which king salmonid you're facing against. I do wonder how it's going to work for those rotations where you can get random king salmonids. Maybe it'll just be a question mark or something. But yeah, for now this is an absolutely fantastic change, and to me it definitely indicates that we should see even more king salmonids in the future if they're going to the effort of making changes like this. I definitely think we'll probably end up seeing at least 5 in total. That would be fantastic, and these changes will help us identify them much more easier. There's also a ton of Salmon Run updates for the Splatnet free app, which is fantastic. For example, like the 2 changes that I just told you about, the king salmonid is now properly displayed in Splatnet free, so you can see which one you went up against in your job logs. The shape of the king will also be shown in the job log section, as you can see here, which is great. So once again now, there's no more confusion about which king salmonid you did face up against in previous jobs, or which one is currently a part of a rotation. They make it much more clear now, which is fantastic. They've also confirmed that when a player's score in Big Run is in the top 20%, it is now possible to confirm in Salmon Run stats what percentile that score corresponds to. That's a pretty small change honestly, but hey, I think it's a neat quality of life update that'll help people use the app even more. They've also added in this new section which allows you to see how many salmonids you've actually splatted, which I think is super duper cool. Now, don't look too closely into my numbers because they're not nearly as good as most other players, but still, I've tried my best, and I just really love seeing information like this. This is something that I've wanted for quite a while. I love all of the different stats and that, and it makes me want Nintendo to just add even more into the game. So yeah, this is a really great new thing to see, honestly. It's fantastic. All of this stuff has just made me want to visit the Splatnet free app even more, which I think is Nintendo's goal here. They're really trying to make that place somewhere that people will go to a lot more, as I feel like a lot of players tend to overlook it, so it's great to see. Finally, there are also some important bug fixes for Salmon Run as well. Fix an issue where gold eggs could become stuck bouncing in a perpetual loop if thrown from certain locations. Fix an issue where if a player was using the crab tank and changed to mobile mode at a specific moment just before a wave ended, the crab tank would be treated as though it was still in mobile mode even when the next wave started, leaving an ink trail behind it and causing damage by running over opponents. Fix an issue that caused players not to be able to pass through some scrappers while in a life ring. Fix an issue that caused flyfish not to be brought down when hit by an attack from a slamming lid. Fix an issue in Marooner's Bay that caused gold eggs to enter the terrain when a boss salmonid was defeated at certain locations. So yeah, Salmon Run has gotten some amazing improvements in this update, most of which Nintendo didn't even share in the trailer for the chill season, so you might not have known about a lot of these. So I hope you found this video useful. Let me know what you're most excited for down in the comments section. If you made it to the end, be sure to comment Splat Gang so I know you did. If you enjoyed, be sure to leave a like, and if you haven't already, consider subscribing and turning on notifications for more.